vibrant decadence, exuberant parties. New Orleans has always had a reputation for its lavishness and has been known to be a true melting pot of cultures with a wealth of unique heritage and proud traditions. It is best known for its upbeat music, vibrant nightlife, and numerous festivals, including, of course, its over-the-top epic celebration of Mardi Gras. In a place so brimming with life, it might be surprising that we find ourselves stopping here, as you all know why we make stops on this little road trip of ours. Hey kids, welcome home. In tonight's adventure, we're going to stop in a location that may not on the surface seem scary at all. But, as we've learned, looks can be deceiving when you journey into the paranormal. And while we may be heading to an upbeat and fun location, underneath the surface of parties and entertainment there is, nestled in a small private alley in the French Quarter, a quaint little bookstore, charming in all ways from the outside, a beautiful gate, and from the inside, to greeting Joanna, the overly eager employee at the front desk, who's always ready with the perfect book recommendation. The mesmerizing collection of tales and volumes from all over the world is dizzying, but is there more to this tale? More to discover in this location's book of life? This charming little bookshop goes by the name Faulkner House Books, and while it is, in fact, a charming storefront, it, like all other tales we've experienced together, should not be judged by its cover. Tonight, we will turn back the pages and investigate Faulkner House Books and the rumors that its namesake, famed author William Faulkner, might still be roaming the stacks, hoping for a little inspiration for his next tale. William Faulkner, spelled at birth as Falkner, was born to parents Murray Faulkner and Maud Butler in New Albany, Massachusetts, in the year 1897. Murray and Maud would parent 4 boys: John, Dean, Murray Charles, more commonly called Jack, and of course William, who was the oldest of the 4. Although William would undeniably end up being the most well-known of the Faulkner boys, it is interesting to note that John also found his chosen profession in writing. Dean would become an aviator whose life would be cut short in a flying accident. And then there's Jack. Jack would later join the FBI and notably take part in the murder of famous Chicago bank robber John Dillinger in 1934. Even though all 4 men would go on to lead arguably unique and interesting lives, their childhood was quite simple. William's father owned a hardware store and a livery stable, while Mother Maud would tend to the children, and it would be Maud that would be one of the many influencers in William's childhood that would fuel his enthusiasm for the written word, with her joy of teaching her children, especially in teaching them to read. Before the Faulkner boys even attended school, they were being regaled with the many works of the Grimm brothers' fairy tales and the numerous works of Charles Dickens. William excelled in school and was quite the gifted student, even skipping the 2nd grade. But, as often the case with young prodigies, William quickly grew bored and restless with the curriculum of his classes, as they were not advanced enough to hold his attention, which would lead to him being held back in the 10th and 11th grades. Many people who knew Faulkner would state that he was highly intelligent, but found academia not challenging enough to suit his needs. Because of this, Faulkner would turn his aspirations to life in military service, but unfortunately, much like infamous superhero Captain America, Faulkner would be rejected by the U.S. Army in 1918 as he was deemed underweight and too short at a mere 5'6" to be of service. Not to be deterred, William would join the Royal Canadian Air Force and would just miss out on his opportunity to be sent to the front lines of World War I due to a leg injury during a plane accident in the early days of the war. But long nights away from home alone in foreign lands, Faulkner's love of the written word would never fade. He would carry with him memories of those evening story times with his mom, and in his solitude his mind would begin crafting tales and turning the loneliness into stories that could act as a companion and helped get him through the end of the war. With the war behind him, Faulkner would garner the interest of Phillip Stone, a man in the area with a bachelor's degree from Yale and a love of novels. Stone saw so much potential in William and took quite a shining to the hopeful author, so much so that he took him under his wing and mentored the gifted rising novelist. It was at this time that William would make the decision to change the spelling of his name to the more widely recognized spelling, including the addition of the U, as he believed this looked more professional. It was 1924, and unbeknownst to William Faulkner, acclaim was on the horizon. On a mission for success, the literary allure of New Orleans would call to Faulkner, and he would find himself pursuing his dreams in this new location of bright lights and exciting street life. After wearing out his welcome at the home of Sherwood Anderson, Faulkner, in the midst of a fever dream of writing his first novel, would find himself roommate to William Spratling, a local artist, in a sunny 4-story house located in Pirates Alley, the location that today stands as Faulkner House Books. It would be during his years at this location that some of his most popular and enduring tales would be crafted. Faulkner had a happy home here until 1930, when he and his wife Estelle would move on and find themselves in Oxford, Mississippi, tasked with renovating the dilapidated but potential-laden Roanoke. But more on that later. As Frankie discovered, Faulkner first found himself on the property that would become Faulkner House Books in 1925, penning some of his most well-known novels, such as Soldier's Pay and The Sound and the Fury. Faulkner would spend hours sitting at his writing table, writing, rewriting, and editing his words until they were perfect. Long into the morning hours, he could be found sitting with his pipe in his mouth, clacking away at his typewriter, poring over his words until he found just the right ones. This location was more than a place to work. It was a house that he truly made a home during his time there. In 1990, the property at 624 Pirates Alley would be purchased by Rosemary James and Joe DeSalvo. DeSalvo was a longtime book dealer and immediately saw the potential of this charming home once owned by a famous writer and began the painstaking process of restoration, turning the home into the now well-renowned Faulkner House Books. The bookstore would open to the public later that same year, ironically enough, on September 25th, William Faulkner's own birthday. Dubbed across the internet as a sanctuary for fine literature and rare editions, there is a sense of pride that shines through and is evident in the love and care bestowed upon this charming bookstore. DeSalvo and James also founded the Pirates Alley Faulkner Society, along with Kenneth Holditch, Don Marshall, and Dalt Wonk. The society sponsors the literary conference Words and Music, a Feast in New Orleans each fall, as well as administering a literary competition with many young writers going on to lucrative writing careers. One only has to talk to DeSalvo for a few moments to see his pride in the bookstore, apparent with each word he utters. He will proudly name-drop all of the famous actors that have graced the literary hotspot with their presence. Nicolas Cage, John Malkovich, Patricia Arquette, Sharon Stone, Delta Burke, Jeremy Irons, and Cicely Tyson, just to name a few. When asked what made him want to purchase the property, DeSalvo will tell you it's not been an easy process, but the potential was obvious, and Faulkner's love of writing made for a perfect ambiance to create a place for fellow quote-unquote book nerds. The atmosphere of the bookstore is so welcoming, in fact, that when paired with the many happy years Faulkner spent on the property, it would appear he is still very much at home within these walls. When you spend your career cultivating the imaginations of the world at large, it seems quite fitting that Mr. Faulkner would feel an appeal toward the place he felt most at home. the places where he would smoke his cigars and craft his unique tales. The late hours, the dedication and passion for the craft. William Faulkner was truly dedicated to his writing, which makes it no surprise that there have been many instances of his spirit being reported in and around both Faulkner House books and Roanoke, even to this day. Numerous accounts of unexplainable activity have been reported by several guests of the bookstore over the years. Many claim that as they wander the store, the scent of fresh cigar smoke lingers in the air and is most prevalent around Faulkner's original writing table, which still resides in the bookstore to this day. Some have even claimed to have seen cigar smoke swirling around the heads of the bookstore patrons with their own eyes. And going back to that famed writing desk, there have even been reports that the ghost of Faulkner has been spotted in a place he would frequently be found in life, sitting at that very desk, cigar between his teeth, typing away at his typewriter. Further tales of Faulkner sightings revolve around his reputation as quite the ladies' man, to put it one way, or you could call it as Rosemary James sees it, as she was quoted as saying, "Faulkner was a terrible lecher. Every time we had a pretty young woman working here, she would feel an inappropriate caress." Although it is widely known that there have been reports of sights and sensations of Faulkner on the grounds of the bookstore, there has yet to be any evidence recorded within the bookstore. The residence he would have with his wife Estelle later in life, well, that's a different story. William Faulkner would marry Estelle Oldham in June of 1929 at College Hill Presbyterian Church, just outside of Oxford, Mississippi. The pair would honeymoon on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and upon their return to Oxford, they would live with relatives while they began the search for a home of their own. And in 1930, Faulkner would find the location that would become that home. The Bailey Place, a beautiful, modified Greek Revival antebellum house, settled on 4 acres of manicured grounds, nestled into nearly 30 acres of woodlands, was originally built by Colonel Robert Shegog, an Irish immigrant planter from Tennessee, when he settled in the tiny frontier settlement in the 1940s. Faulkner was immediately entranced by the land and its rich history and knew he had found his home. He would rename the property Rowan Oak in 1931, naming it after the rowan tree, known as a symbol of peace and serenity. The beauty of the land lent itself well to the active imagination of Faulkner, with his years at Roanoke being quite lucrative. His years there would lead to his being awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1949, and the Pulitzer Prize and National Book Award in 1954 for his work, A Fable. In addition to crafting tales for public consumption, Faulkner enjoyed crafting ghost stories that he would share with his daughter Jill and other nieces and nephews in the family. One of his favorite ghost stories revolved around the tragic and quite true tale of Colonel Shegog's daughter Judith. According to Faulkner's rendition, late one evening, Judith was attempting to sneak away and elope with her secret love, whom her father did not approve of because he was a Yankee soldier. In her attempt to sneak out of the house, she climbed out of her bedroom window and onto a rope ladder, where she would tragically lose her balance and plunge to the brick sidewalk below, killing her instantly. There are many variations on the untimely end of the mortal life of Judith Shegog, but 2 things are known for certain. The first is that in his grief, Colonel Shegog buried the body of his daughter under a magnolia tree on the property. And secondly, that her presence still lingers and has been well documented around the grounds and is considered to be the main specter in the house. Although Judith's poltergeist is the most commonly reported spirit that lurks around this mansion, there have also been reports of the lingering spirit of Faulkner himself. The phantom visage of Faulkner has been seen writing on the walls of his office, where, eerily enough, during a renovation to the property after Faulkner's death, a plot outline for a novel was, in fact, written on the walls in black graphite and red grease pencil. In addition, there are also tales of Faulkner's spirit wandering the grounds, scaring away students from nearby University of Mississippi from using his grounds for their various late-night activities. The stories of the grounds and mansion at Roanoke being haunted are many. However, investigators being allowed to look inside is not commonplace. So when ghost chasers of Mississippi were granted their rare opportunity, they took full advantage, and they found themselves walking away with many experiences. Here are a few highlights from their 2014 investigation.
If there's anyone in here with us, could you please make your presence known? We've made it to where this flashlights can be turned on very easily. All you have to do is just touch one. There you go. Thank you. We need you to cut it. We need you to cut it off so that we can ask you questions. Thank you.
Are you Caroline?
There's a what?
Are you Caroline?
Repeat that, please.
Thank you.
Oh, wow.
It's Caroline.
Using the flashlight, we were able to determine who exactly we were in communication with. Caroline, or better known as Mammy Callie, was William Faulkner's servant who resided on the property in the house behind the Roanoke, where Team 2 was currently investigating.
Okay, so you're not a member of the Faulkner family, you're Caroline. Are there people in the house that you used to live in right now?
Thank you, Caroline.
When you consider the flashlight combined with the ovulus, it is hard to determine this to be anything but solid evidence that Mammy Callie is still with us.
So did you serve the Faulkner family for a long time?
Thank you, Caroline.
While Caleb is steadily getting temperature drops on his millimeter, Valkyrie Morgan is taking pictures. Caleb seems to have this cold mist hovering around his back, which could explain the temperature drops. A second picture was taken a couple of minutes later. This mist, still hovering around Caleb, seems to have moved upward. And at this exact same time, the temperature starts to go back up on Caleb's millimeter, showing that he could very well be in the presence of some sort of spirit trying to communicate with him. Shortly after this voice, we catch this odd light anomaly. As you can see, this light only appears on one side of the rack. If it was caused by us, the light source would have been seen. Also, there is no way for this light to have come through from outside the home, since the rack is covered.
If you are, Colonel, would you turn that light on so I know for sure that it is you, sir? Turn it all the way on, sir. I'd be much obliged. Would you wish for us to go back into the main house where it's a lot warm?
He said we keep asking him, where you going?
Yeah.
Alright, we're going. Please follow us.
So would you like some whiskey, sir? No, I mean like when you bumped it.
Yeah.
That's what the light.
Yeah, that's right. Make it sharp.
Yeah.
Can you turn that light off that he rudely turned on? Thank you.
Do you allow loose women into your house?
He does! Oh my goodness. Okay, we'll go back to the question. Do you like loose women? Good.
See, maybe it's not that he likes loose women, but he allows them into his house.
Okay. Do you allow them into your house?
Yes.
Okay.
As you can tell from just the brief few minutes of footage that I've shared with you, it would appear the Ghost Chasers of Mississippi team had an eventful night, and I would encourage you guys to check out their full video, which is linked below. In life, William Faulkner spent his days weaving a tapestry of vivid imagery through his words. He shared his passion, and he shared his creativity with the world, and left us with an enduring legacy as we can now, today, in this very moment, pick up one of his novels and be transported to the world that he created for us. And if you ever find yourself in the bustling and beautiful New Orleans and turn down the vivacious Pirates Alley, be sure to stop into the quaint and charming little bookstore tucked into the side, and maybe, just maybe, you will catch the faint aroma of pipe tobacco, feel a light touch embracing you, or even catch a glimpse of the one and only literary mastermind himself, clattering away at his typewriter, ready to regale you with one of his tales. It was great to get back on the road with you guys tonight and continue on our journey across the haunted United States. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's paranormal pit stop as much as I did. I want to thank you all for your support and patience in haunted United States being put on the back burner so that I could focus my attention solely on the second annual Spooktober, which I really enjoyed doing again. Releasing a video, and on some days 2 videos, every single day in October was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun too. Thank you so much again, Avery, for your help in getting those videos edited and out. I really don't think I could have done it without you. And again, thank you to the amazingly talented Lou and Addie for their creepy tales. There will be a limited edition set of Spooktober merch released in the Press Start Mom Bonfire merch store, which I will also link below. These items will only be available until January 1st, so get them while they last. I will also be doing a better job of uploading Patreon exclusives up on my Patreon channel, so if you want to get the inside dirt on the mom videos, be sure to join over there for as little as $1 a month. If you're joining us for the first time on our little haunted road trip, I thank you for stopping in and watching the video, and I hope I've earned your subscription today. It's a lot of work, but a lot of fun, and a little bit of chills along the way. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. As always, sleep tight.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Do you like apples?
Yeah.
VENATOS.
How do you like them apples?
VENATOS is a premium gaming peripheral brand geared toward developing high-performance products. We're currently working toward creating new, exciting, and unique products not currently found on the market. With quality to match its sleek and beautiful design, I can honestly say that my VENATOS mouse is the best that I've ever owned, and I'm looking forward to expanding my collection of VENATOS products. VENATOS ships internationally with extremely low international shipping costs, and shipping is free to the US and Canada. Your products will arrive quickly and carefully packaged, with most orders arriving within 7 to 10 business days. If you're looking to upgrade your setup in an affordable way without substituting looks, VENATOS is an optimal choice, and when you use code PRESSSTARTMOM at checkout, VENATOS is offering a 10% discount on your order. You'll be doing Mom a solid, and you'll be doing yourself a solid. Everyone wins. Thank you so much to VENATOS for sponsoring this video.
Late nights, been on long flights, stayed on strange time. It's a strange time in my life. I took a drive home to clear my mind.